With me today, I have the 3 most popular retail curves on the market right now, which are pretty much the only 3 retail curves we have right now. We have the P92, we have the P28, and then we have the P90T. There is also the P90TM, but I prefer the P90T. I did bring a P90TM with me just to show the differences, but we're gonna highlight the differences and the advantages between these 3 curves, which one would be more likely to fit your game style, which one fits mine currently, and if it makes as much of a difference as you think, and what other curves you could be taking a look at that aren't necessarily on the retail market, but are also great options. So I've got four stations of 4 pucks set up to take shots with each curve. The 4th stick I have is a curve that I believe should be the next retail curve. I've got the P86 or a version of the Zegras with me. We're gonna take some shots and see how they feel. But first, I'll show you guys how these look. So these are the 3 retail curves. I have the P92 on the bottom here, the P90T in the middle, and then the P20 on the top. You can see that the P90T and the P92 have pretty similar blade shapes, except on the P90T, there's a bit of a dip here and then a point here where the rocker changes, and that P92 doesn't necessarily have it, or at least not as dramatic. A little bit different, and for each of these ones, the lie is different. So we'll highlight that a little bit later in the video, but for now, we're gonna take some shots and see how it goes. We'll start with the P92 and progressively go bigger with the curves. So I've got 4 shots with the P92, and this is an Alpha DX, which has one of my favorite blades I have ever used. Overall, you can see it's pretty easy to release the puck with this. I'll grab the P90T. I have the P90T on a Novium build. You can kind of see the bevel taper we have in there. It's from the University of Alaska. This thing is sick. The release is fairly similar to the P92. However, I find that toe kink at the end sometimes causes some fluttering if you're not used to it. And then I have the P28 here. A little bit more loft on the P28, which can be a little bit more difficult to control. I'll go grab the 4th and final one. Okay, I have the P86 on an ADV here. I'm really excited to shoot with this thing. Oh. Okay. Move on to shooting out of the corner, and I'll give some thoughts while I'm in the corner. Something I really do want to highlight about the P92 is there's so many different variations of it that you can actually really dial in which curve you like, even just out of those variants. Like you have the W03, you have the W77, you have the W90, you have all the max blades variants of it, you have the standard P92, you have the P92 Live 5, P92 Live 4, Live 5.5, whatever lie you might want. You have the P29 and you have the P90. All these are from different brands, but the 29 and 90 are different from CCM. The P92 is pretty much the same for Bauer, except you have different lie variations. For Warrior, the W77 is the Adam Oates Pro curve where the heel is a little bit flatter. You have the W03, which is more similar to the P29 from CCM. And then you have the W90, which is more similar to the P90 or the P92. So really you can dial in your specs even just within this P92 umbrella. So I just want to take a few shots out of the corner from here. I'm just kind of showcasing how it looks when you release the puck different ways with the different curves. And then I will stop shooting and kind of just go into it more from a speaking and technical standpoint. I believe the P92 is still the most common curve in hockey, and it's for a reason. This thing kind of does it all. It's the jack of all trades of hockey curves. I still kind of have to dial in my shooting with it. Okay, we'll move on to the P90T. Also, I cut the knob off of my Tacky Mac, and it's much more comfortable for my hand. Just way easier to get a handle on. But yeah, take some shots out of the corner with the P90T. It does have a little bit of a different loft than the P92. Like, it's less of a pocket and more of a loft. Yeah, I think it feels pretty good. It's pretty similar to the P92, just a little bit extra at the toe. Definitely easier to get the puck up in a hurry with the P28. It feels good though. It's really easy to handle the puck because it feels like you have a shorter blade, even though you might not. It really feels like you do, and I find that makes it easier to handle the puck. Also, I like that the backhand on this is pretty flat, at least just kind of here, so it's easy to handle the puck. And then if I'm going to turn, it can get caught in that pocket here, and it's not going anywhere. Like once it's in there, it's in there. Now I'm dizzy, but that's why I like the P28, and it's kind of one that I gravitate towards. Yeah, the stick feels really good. I've been using the P28 a lot recently, so it's just what I'm comfortable with. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the Zegras, which is kind of a combination between this and then the shape of the P92. Okay, I've got the P86 here, and the P86 is probably my favorite curve right now, and it's not quite the same as the Zegras, but it's kind of been coined that way. The P86 here, apparently, was originally made by Nikita Kucherov, and then someone named Fyodor Polishchuk took the title for the Bauer stick, so he was the first one to make that mold on a Bauer stick. But this thing is awesome. It's not quite the same as a P28, like everyone says it's a blend between a P28 and a P92, myself included, just because that's the easiest way to describe this. I'll show, excuse me, I'll show this at a side-by-side with the P28. This starts more towards the mid of the blade, and I think this is more accurately described as a deeper P92 than actually a mix between a P28 and a P92, because yes, it is extremely similar to a P92 blade, and the curve is similar to a P28, but it's not quite the same, and this is even a bigger curve than the P28 is. So we'll take a few shots with this thing. And so this is a Zach White Cloud Pro Stock ADV, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, Zach White Cloud's a defenseman. I can't believe he's using such a big curve. Well, the times have changed. No such thing as defenseman curves anymore. No such thing as forward curves. It is all personal preference. And this is my personal preference. The Lion A is great too, but this still takes the cake. Oh. Okay. That's it for the shooting portion with these sticks. Let's get analytical. Oh, let's see how long I can keep this going. Whew. All right, let's dive into the actual specs of the curves. Okay, third time's the charm here. I have filmed this twice. My mic has yet to work. We're trying this again. So, when it comes to choosing the right curve for you, it is entirely personal preference. However, there are some aspects to the curve that'll make it right for you or wrong for you. So, to start it off, we have the P92. This typically comes in a lie 6, can come in a lie 5 or a 5.5, but that's getting into more of the custom options. This is pretty much your jack of all trades when it comes to hockey curves. You can jump to this curve from any other curve that you're using and be pretty okay using it. I'll show you the curve here and I'll show you the blade shape. This is great for shooting from pretty much anywhere. It might be a little bit difficult getting the puck up in a hurry, but shooting from the perimeter with this thing or shooting long range is awesome. I love this curve. I find myself always coming back to it, especially if I'm in a bit of a slump when it comes to hitting the net or really hitting my spots. I go back to this, I reset, and then I branch out from there. If you're thinking of getting the P92, you can't go wrong with it. It may not be the most fun curve to use, or it may not excite you to be getting a stick with the P92, but you're gonna be okay with it. You're gonna hit the net, you're gonna catch passes, you're gonna be able to sauce passes, you're gonna be able to do everything you wanna do with this, and you won't find yourself limiting yourself with this. It's just not necessarily that fun to use, so I find myself not gravitating towards this just because of all the other options I do have. So up next after the P92 is a variation that Jamie Benn made. This is the P90T, and what this is a P92 with a toe kink. So I'll show you here what I mean by that. So it's got pretty much the exact same curve. However, you can see there, it's got a little bit of a kink at the toe. And this is a lie 5.5 on retail sticks, but the Pro Ben itself is a lie 6 because it's an exact copy of a P92. So, who is this right for? This might be right for someone who has a P92, they want a little bit more toe, but they're not quite ready for that P28. That's right for you. Or, if you want a little bit of a lower lie and you're willing to have a bit of a bigger curve just to get that lower lie, this is also a great option for you. One thing to note that I struggle with when I shoot with this puck is I find that toe kink makes me flutter as I'm releasing the puck, but it might not be the same for everyone because everyone releases the puck just a little bit differently. And then after that, the next evolution that came a little bit after that bend is the Zegras. So I have the Zegras here, 6.5 lie, an exact P92 blade shape, just a little bit deeper and a little bit more of a toe curve here. This is more up my alley than the P92 itself. I enjoyed this one a lot more. There's also the P86 variant of this, which is just a bigger curve overall, more in the P28 realm and a little bit more of a squared off heel, but also that lie 6.5 again. This is more of a shooter's curve, I find, than that P92. It's a little bit easier for me to pick my spots with this one just because it's a bit of a bigger curve, deeper pocket. I really enjoy this one. If you're using a P92 and you're wanting to try something new, this is the easiest thing to jump into right off the bat. And last but most certainly not least is a curve that I have been using pretty much since the release of the Easton V9E, which I would have been in, not Minor Atom, maybe Atom. So I would have been like 12, and I love this curve. This is definitely, I can't say that. It's not my favorite curve, but it's one that I have the most history with. Like back when I was actually playing hockey, growing up playing like for Vaughan Kings, Jersey, whoever I was playing for at the time, the curve that I gravitated towards the most was this P28, and I usually got it on the trigger line. But this thing is awesome, especially for shooting. You shoot off the toe, this stick is awesome. It's a lie 5, which is a bit of a lower lie these days. So if you're a bit of a lower skater and you play with the puck more away from your body, this is a great stick for you or a great curve for you. But some people can't necessarily get over that toe hook. So I'll show you here now. And to be honest, it's not that egregious, especially not nowadays with all the curves that are coming out. But if you like shooting off the toe, this is absolutely the stick for you. So with all that being said, I want to reiterate that curves are entirely personal preference. You may find something that works for you, but nobody else can use it. For example, I have this stick here, which is a mystery stick, which is also a great way for you to try new curves without breaking the bank, because this was $140 Canadian. This is the Labelle Pro Curve. This thing is ridiculous. I don't think anyone else in the world could use this stick as effectively as he did. I'll show you what this hook looks like. It is insane. Take a look at that. It is pretty much an exact P28 blade, but that hook is egregious. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to say, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.